True happiness occurs only when you find the problems you enjoy having and enjoy solving.
真正的幸福仅在于找到你喜欢面对并乐于解决的问题。
In this generation-defining self-help guide, a superstar blogger cuts through the crap to show us how to stop trying to be positive all the time so that we can truly become better, happier people.
在这本定义了这一代人的自助指南中，一位超级博客作者直截了当告诉我们如何停止总是试图保持积极，以便我们能真正成为更好、更快乐的人。
For decades, we've been told that positive thinking is the key to a happy, rich life.
几十年来，我们一直被告知积极思考是通往幸福和富裕生活的关键。
FK positivity, Mark Manson says.
去他妈的积极思考，马克·曼森说。
Let's be honest, shit is fged, and we have to live with it.
老实说，这一切都很糟糕，我们必须与之共存。
The subtle art of not giving a FCK is his antidote to the coddling, let's all feel good mindset that has infected modern society and spoiled a generation, rewarding them with gold medals just for showing up.
不在乎的艺术是他对于这种溺爱的让我们都感觉良好的心态的解药。这种心态已经感染了现代社会，并且让一代人变得脆弱，仅仅因为出现就给予他们金牌。
Today, we're exploring the book The Subtle Art of Not Giving a FCK by Mark Manson.
今天我们探索的书籍是管他的，愈在意愈不开心，作者马克·曼森。
Content Preview. The Feedback Loop from Hell. Why feeling good all the time is a bad idea. Don't try. The surprising wisdom of a drunk poet. You are not special, and that's a good thing. You are not special, and that's a good thing. The Tyranny of Exceptionalism. Why we're so obsessed with being the best. The Self-Awareness Onion. Peeling back the layers to discover your true values. The Do Something Principle. Action as the antidote to fear. The importance of saying no. Building healthy boundaries.
欢迎您与一群有爱又耐心的伙伴们开心学英文吧！别错过影片尾声的精华摘要。
The Feedback Loop from Hell. Why feeling good all the time is a bad idea.
来自地狱的反馈循环，为什么我一直感觉良好是个坏主意？
Think about it. Have you ever scrolled through social media and felt a pang of envy, seeing everyone else seemingly living their best lives while you're stuck at home flossing your cat?
想想看，你是否曾经刷社交媒体时感到一丝嫉妒，看到别人似乎都在过着最好的生活，而你却困在家里给你的猫剔牙？
The author called this the feedback loop from hell, and it's become a modern-day epidemic.
作者称之为来自地狱的反馈循环，这已经成为现代的流行病。
We're bombarded with images of people being happy and successful, making us feel like we're not good enough if we're not experiencing the same level of joy 24/7.
我们被充斥着人们快乐和成功的画面，如果我们没有全天候地获得同样的快乐，就会感到自己不够好。
But here's the mind-blowing truth. Wanting to feel good all the time is actually a negative experience.
然而，这里有一个惊人的真相，想一直感觉良好实际上是一种负面经验。
It's like chasing a rainbow. The more you chase it, the further it seems to get.
这就像追逐彩虹，你越追逐，它就似乎离你越远。
And the more you focus on what you lack, the more miserable you become.
你越专注于自己的不足，就会变得越痛苦。
Instead of chasing fleeting highs, the author suggests we should learn to embrace the inevitable ups and downs of life.
作者建议不要追求短暂的快感，而是学会接受生活中不可避免的起伏。
Pain and suffering are part of the human experience, just like joy and excitement.
痛苦和磨难是人类经验的一部分，就像快乐和兴奋一样。
It's about finding the problems you enjoy dealing with and learning to not give a FCK about the rest.
这是关于找到你喜欢解决的问题，而对其他事情不去刻意在意。
Think about it like this. If you want to build strong muscles, you have to lift weights and push yourself to the limit.
想想看，如果你想锻炼强壮的肌肉，你必须举重并推自己到极限。
It's going to hurt, but the pain is a sign that you're growing stronger.
这会很痛，但疼痛是你变得更犟的标志。
The same goes for life. The challenges we face make us more resilient and help us appreciate the good times even more.
生活也是如此，我们面对的挑战让我们更加坚韧，并帮助我们更加珍惜美好时光。
Don't try the surprising wisdom of a drunk poet.
不要勉强一位醉酒诗人的惊人智慧。
Charles Bukowski, the man who epitomized the gritty underbelly of the American dream, was known for his hard-loving ways.
查尔斯·布考斯基以美国梦的阴暗面闻名，以艰难的生活和狂放不羁的爱情方式而著称。
He was an alcoholic, a womanizer, a gambler, and on his worst days, a poet.
他是个酒鬼、浪荡子、赌徒，在他最糟糕的日子里，他是一个诗人。
For decades, he faced rejection from every corner of the literary world.
几十年来，他面临着文学界每一个角落的拒绝。
His writing, deemed crude, disgusting, and depraved, was met with a mountain of rejection slips.
他的作品被认为粗俗、令人作呕和堕落，并收到了大量的退稿通知。
Bukowski's days were spent toiling away at a dead-end post office job, earning a pittance that he quickly squandered on booze and gambling.
布考斯基的日子是在一个没有前途的邮局工作中度过的，赚取的一点微薄收入很快就被他挥霍在酒和赌博上。
His nights were a haze of alcohol and fleeting encounters, punctuated by the clatter of his typewriter as he poured his soul onto the page.
他的夜晚是一片酒精迷雾和短暂偶遇，被打字机的声音所打断，因为他把灵魂倾诉到纸上。
This cycle continued for 30 long years, his life a blurry tapestry of vice and self-destruction.
这样的循环持续了整整30年，他的生活是一幅模糊不清的堕落和自我毁灭的画卷。
Then, at the age of 50, fate intervened. An editor at a small publishing house saw something in Bukowski's raw, unfiltered prose.
然后，在50岁时，命运介入。一家小出版社的编辑在布考斯基原汁原味、未加修饰的散文中看到了东西。
This editor, perhaps recognizing a kindred spirit, offered him a chance, a lifeline out of the abyss.
这位编辑也许认识到了一个同类，给了他一个机会，一条走出深渊的生命线。
Bukowski, recognizing this as his one and only shot, grasped it with both hands, famously declaring, "I have decided to starve."
布考斯基认识到这是他唯一的机会，紧紧抓住它，并著名地宣布：“我决定饿死。”
He quit his job and poured all his energy into his writing.
他辞去了工作，将所有的精力投入到写作中。
He laid bare his failures and his shortcomings for the world to see, and in doing so, he achieved a level of authenticity that resonated with readers.
他将自己的失败和缺点展现给世界看，通过这样做，他达到了一种与读者共鸣的真诚。
Bukowski's gamble paid off. His first novel, Post Office, was written in a mere 3 weeks.
布考斯基的赌注得到了回报，他的第一部小说《邮局》仅用了3周就完成。
He would go on to publish 6 novels and hundreds of poems, selling millions of copies and achieving a level of fame that defied everyone's expectations.
他接下来出版了6部小说和数百首诗，售出数百万本，并达到了超出所有人预期的名声。
He never tried to be anything other than what he was, a flawed, imperfect human being.
他从未试图成为除了他本身以外的任何东西，一个有缺陷的、不完美的人类。
Even after achieving fame, Bukowski remained true to himself.
即便在成名之后，布考斯基仍保持真实的自我。
He continued to indulge in his vices, showing up to poetry readings drunk and engaging in outrageous behavior.
他继续沉迷于自己的恶习，醉醺醺地出现在诗歌朗诵会上，并做出离谱的行为。
Fame and success didn't change him because they weren't his goals.
名声和成功没有改变他，因为那并不是他的目标。
He didn't seek self-improvement as a means to an end. He simply lived his truth, and that truth resonated with the world.
他没有将自我提升作为达到某种目的的手段，他只是活出了自己的真实，而这种真实使世界产生共鸣。
You are not special, and that's a good thing.
你不是特别的，这是件好事。
In a world obsessed with being extraordinary, it's easy to get caught up in the hype and feel like you're not good enough if you're not achieving amazing things.
在一个迷恋卓越的世界里，很容易被炒作搞糊涂，感觉如果你没有取得惊人成就，你就不够好。
But the sources suggest that this constant pressure to be special is actually making us more miserable.
但来源表明，这种不断要求特殊的压力实际上让我们更痛苦。
Think about it like this. If everyone is special, then no one is special.
想想看，如果每个人都特别，那么就没有人是特别的。
It's like being in a room full of people shouting, "Look at me." No one gets heard because everyone is trying so hard to stand out.
这就像在一个充满人群的房间里，每个人都在喊看我，没有人被关注，因为每个人都在努力突出自己。
Jimmy, the delusional entrepreneur who's all talk and no action.
吉米是个妄想的创业者，只说不做。
Jimmy believes he deserves success without putting in the work, and he spends more time bragging about his achievements than actually accomplishing anything.
吉米相信他应该不劳而获成功，比起实际上做出任何成就，他花更多时间吹嘘自己的成就。
He's a prime example of what the author call entitlement, the belief that you deserve good things without actually earning them.
他是作者所谓应得感的最佳例子，相信你应该得到好东西，而不实际去赚取。
The problem with entitlement is that it makes people need to feel good about themselves all the time, even at the expense of those around them.
应得感的问题在于，它使人们需要一直对自己有良好的感觉，即使是以周围人的代价。
It's a fragile ego boost that quickly fades, leaving you feeling empty and unfulfilled.
这是一种脆弱的自我提升，迅速消失，让你感到空虚和不满足。
The author encourages us to embrace our averageness and find freedom in letting go of the need to be special.
作者鼓励我们拥抱平凡，并在放下特别需要的过程中找到自由。
It's not about lowering our standards or giving up on our dreams. It's about recognizing that true happiness comes from pursuing what matters to us, regardless of whether we achieve greatness in the eyes of the world.
这不是降低我们的标准或放弃梦想，这是认识到真正的幸福来自追求对我们重要的东西，不管我们是否在世界眼中取得伟大。
The tyranny of exceptionalism. Why we're so obsessed with being the best.
卓越主义的专横，为什么我们如此着迷于成为最好的？
Our obsession with exceptionalism is fueled by the constant barrage of extreme information we're exposed to every day.
我们对卓越主义的迷恋是由我们每天面对的极端信息的持续轰炸所助燃的。
Social media, news outlets, and even entertainment shows highlight the best, the worst, the funniest, and the most outrageous, making us feel like we're falling behind if our lives aren't as exciting or dramatic.
社交媒体、新闻媒体，甚至娱乐节目都在强调最好的、最坏的、最有趣的和最离谱的。如果我们的生活不像这么激动人心或戏剧性，这使我们感到落后。
But the author reminds us that the vast majority of life resides in the humdrum middle.
但作者提醒我们，生活的绝大多数存在于平凡的中间。
Most of us are not going to be world-famous athletes, brilliant scientists, or billionaires. And that's okay.
我们大多数人不会成为世界知名的运动员、杰出的科学家或亿万富翁，这没什么不好。
Think about it like a bell curve. The extremes are the outliers, the rare exceptions.
想想看，像一个中型曲线，极端是例外，是罕见的特例。
Most people fall somewhere in the middle, and that's where life happens, the everyday moments, the small joys, the simple pleasures.
大多数人处于中间的某个地方，这就是生活发生的地方，日常时刻，小快乐，简单的愉悦。
Focusing on our own averageness can actually be liberating.
专注于我们自己的平凡，其实可以是一种解放。
It takes the pressure off to be something we're not, and allows us to appreciate the simple things in life.
这让我们不再需要压力去成为我们不是的人，并让我们能够欣赏生活中的简单事物。
It's about finding joy in the journey, not just the destination.
这是关于在旅程中找到快乐，而不仅仅是目的地。
The self-awareness onion, peeling back the layers to discover your true values.
自我认识的洋葱，剥去层次以发现你的真实价值观。
True happiness comes from aligning our actions with our values.
真正的幸福源于我们的行动与我们的价值观相符。
But figuring out what we truly value can be tricky, like peeling back the layers of an onion.
但是，搞清楚我们真正重视的东西可能很棘手，就像剥去洋葱的层次一样。
We might think we value certain things, like wealth or success, but upon closer examination, we might discover that our actions are driven by deeper, often unconscious motivations.
我们可能认为我们重视某些东西，比如财富或成功，但仔细观察后，我们可能会发现我们的行动是由更深层次的、经常无意识的动机驱动的。
Think about it like this. You might think you want to be a doctor because you want to help people. But maybe you're also motivated by the prestige and financial security that comes with the profession.
想想这样，你可能认为你想成为一名医生，因为你想帮助人，但也许你也是被这个职业带来的威望和财务安全感激发的。
The key is to dig deeper and understand what's driving your desires.
关键是深入挖掘，了解驱动你欲望的原因。
Many self-help gurus make the mistake of focusing on how to achieve certain goals without addressing the underlying why.
许多自我帮助大师犯了专注于如何实现某些目标而不解决背后原因的错误。
They offer tips on how to make more money or land your dream job, but they don't help you figure out if those goals are truly aligned with what matters to you.
他们提供如何赚更多钱或获得理想工作的建议，但他们不帮助你弄清楚这些目标是否真的与对你重要的事情一致。
It's like giving someone a map without telling them where they want to go. They might end up somewhere, but it might not be the right destination for them.
这就像给别人一张地图，而不告诉他们他们想去哪儿。他们最终可能到达某地，但可能不是他们的正确目的地。
In the final days of World War II, Second Lieutenant Hiro Onoda was sent on a mission to the Philippines island of Lubang, with orders to never surrender.
在第二次世界大战的最后几天，小野田宽郎中尉被派遣到菲律宾的吕邦岛执行任务，命令为不得投降。
Hiding in the jungle with 3 soldiers, they waged guerrilla warfare, unaware that the war had ended in August 1945.
与3名士兵藏身于丛林中进行游击战，并未意识到战争在1945年8月已结束。
The U.S. dropped leaflets announcing Japan's surrender, but Onoda dismissed them as propaganda.
美军发下宣告日本投降的传单，但小野田认作是宣传。
For years, Onoda and his dwindling team continued to attack locals, interpreting messages, letters, and photos from Japan as tricks.
多年来， 小野田和他逐渐减少的队伍继续攻击当地人，将来自日本的信息、信件和照片解读为骗局。
By 1972, only Onoda remained, still fighting a long-lost war in solitude.
到了1972年，只有小野田留在独自奋斗在一场早已失落的战争中。
His story became legendary in Japan, sparking debates over whether he was a hero or a tragic figure lost in misguided loyalty.
他的故事在日本成为传奇，激发了关于他是英雄还是迷失于误导忠诚中的悲剧人物的讨论。
The do something principle, action as the antidote to fear.
做某事原则，行动是恐惧的解药。
The best way to overcome fear and inaction is to simply do something.
克服恐惧和不作为的最好方法就是简单的做些事情。
It's about taking that first step, even if it's a small one, and building momentum from there.
这是关于跨出第一步，即使是一小步，然后从中建立动力。
Think about it like this. Imagine you want to write a book.
想想看，假设你想写一本书，
You might feel overwhelmed by the task and put it off for months or even years.
你可能会因为这项任务感到不知所措，并拖延数月甚至数年。
But if you simply commit to writing 200 words every day, eventually you'll have a whole book.
但如果你每天致力于写200字，最终你会拥有一本完整的书。
Action often precedes motivation.
行动常常会在动力之前。
We don't have to wait until we feel inspired or motivated to start working towards our goals.
我们不必等到我们感到启发或激励，才开始为我们的目标努力。
Sometimes, simply taking action can spark the motivation we need to keep going.
有时，简单的行动可以激发我们需要的动力，以继续前进。
The author shares his own experience of using the do something principle to build his online business.
作者分享了他利用做某事原则建立他的在线业务的经验。
He started by writing a blog about his dating life, even though he had no idea what he was doing.
他开始写关于他约会生活的博客，即便他不知道他在做什么。
But by simply taking action and putting his work out there, he gained experience, built an audience, and eventually created a successful business.
但通过简单的行动和展示他的作品，他获得了经验，建立了观众群，最终创建了一个成功的业务。
The author encouraged us to apply the do something principle to any area of our lives where we feel stuck or afraid.
作者鼓励我们将做某事原则应用到我们感到困住或害怕的生活领域。
It's about taking that first step, even if it feels scary, and trusting that the answers will follow.
这是关于跨出第一步，即使感到害怕，并且相信答案会随之而来。
The importance of saying no, building healthy boundaries.
说不的重要性，建立健康界限。
In a world that encourages us to be agreeable and say yes to everything, the sources emphasize the importance of setting boundaries and saying no.
在一个鼓励我们顺从和对所有事情说是的世界中，来源强调设立界限和说不的重要性。
It's about protecting our time, energy, and priorities, and making sure we're not overcommitting ourselves to things that don't align with our values.
这是关于保护我们的时间、精力和优先事项，并确保我们不会过度承诺于不符合我们价值观的事情。
Think about it like this. Imagine you have a jar that represents your time and energy.
想想看，假设你有一个罐子，代表你的时间和精力。
Every time you say yes to something, you're putting a rock in the jar.
每当你对某件事说是时，你就在罐子里放了块石头。
Eventually, the jar will fill up, and you won't have any space left for the things that truly matter to you.
最终，罐子会满，你将没有空间留给那些真正对你重要的事情。
Saying no is a form of self-care.
说不是自我照顾的一种形式。
It's about honoring our own needs and making sure we're not sacrificing our well-being to please others.
这是关于尊重我们自己的需求，并确保我们不为取悦他人而牺牲我们的幸福。
It's also about being selective about who and what we allow into our lives.
这也是关于对我们允许进入我们生活的人和事进行选择。
Takeaway: The feedback loop from hell, constant positivity and social media comparisons often backfire, leaving us feeling inadequate. Embrace the ups and downs. Real happiness isn't about feeling good all the time. Don't try. Bukowski's story shows that embracing flaws can be powerful. Personal growth doesn't mean losing individuality, and authenticity often resonates more than forced self-improvement. You are not special. Ditch the obsession with exceptionalism. Happiness often lies in life's simple moments, not extraordinary achievements. Healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries is crucial for mental health, protecting us from society's endless demands. Congrats, you've listened to yet another book. Subscribe so you don't miss out on more amazing content. Don't forget to share it with your friends so you can all enjoy listening to audiobooks and learning English together.
恭喜你，又听完了一本书。订阅以便不错过更多精彩内容。也别忘了分享给你的朋友，一起快乐听书学英语。